If you were arrested for domestic violence in California, then this video is for you because I'm going to be explaining the 3 things that you need to do as quickly as possible as soon as you get out of jail that no one has told you. My name is Veronica. I'm a domestic violence defense attorney here in California, and I help people put their cases behind them so that they can enjoy their lives and their freedom. Free first class in the course. Okay, so let's jump right in. The 3 things nobody tells you about that you need to do as soon as you get out of jail or as quickly as possible after you get out of jail for a domestic violence arrest. Number 1, figure out if you are entitled to a partial refund from your bail bondsman. So in California, most bail bondsmen will charge you 10%, but some of them will reduce that to 8% if within a certain time frame, generally 30 days or so, you hire a private criminal defense attorney. Why? Because they can see that you are taking the case seriously. You have a better chance of getting the case dropped before court if you have a private criminal defense attorney than if you just do nothing. The bail bonds people don't always tell you this, so make sure that you check your paperwork carefully. If there is a deadline, that you know what that deadline is and that you comply with it. Doing this step could be worth $1,000. The second thing you need to make sure to do is if you are still in contact with the alleged victim, or if they contact you, you need to keep things calm with them. Now, maybe you are still with the alleged victim. This was some sort of misunderstanding and they want the charges to be dropped. Maybe the two of you were breaking up when this happened or had already broken up. No matter what the situation is, it is important to stay calm, to keep things calm with this person because they don't control the criminal case. They can't just drop the charges. But if they are calling up the detective, if they're trying to provide more evidence against you, then that is bad. And if the two of you are together, a big mistake I've seen people make during their domestic violence cases is you get arrested. Maybe there was a big fight between the two of you. Maybe you just acted in self-defense as the person who was arrested, right? You get arrested. It's horrible. It's traumatic. It costs a lot of money. And so you start feeling victimized yourself. And instead of the focus being on whatever led the fight to get to this point, even if it's a verbal fight, whatever, you start feeling bad for yourself. You start feeling like the victim and you express that to the other person. Now the focus is on you and protecting you. And yes, internally, you can feel like that. But when you are expressing that to the other person, if maybe they slapped you and you pushed them, they might still have some pretty negative feelings about you pushing them, even if it was technically and legally self-defense. Or maybe whatever you did that caused them to slap you in the first place, they are still upset about. So if you just have this focus on you and you're not focused on them, you're not keeping things calm with them, it's causing more fights, that could potentially be bad for the criminal case. So you need to keep things calm, avoid upsetting the alleged victim, even if you really are the victim. Number 3, have an attorney contact the DA as soon as possible. So if you just got out of jail and you have court coming up in a month or 2 months, the DA, the prosecutor, is eventually going to look at this police report and decide, do they want to file charges or not? And since they're making a decision, you have this golden window of opportunity to potentially get them to decide not to file charges. Now, if you have an attorney, they know, okay, you're going to fight this thing. So it's going to take a lot more resources to prosecute you. And then if your attorney explains to them your side of the story, that you are a good person, all the things that you have going for you, your hopes and dreams, whatever it is, it depends on the case, you increase the likelihood substantially that they will decide to drop this whole thing and potentially avoid going to court at all, potentially avoid ever actually being a criminal defendant in a criminal case. You potentially avoid that completely, but you have to do it early. My firm primarily focuses on domestic violence. And when I look back at the cases that I have had where they did file charges, and I'm thinking, that's weird that charges were filed because there wasn't a bad injury. It was my client's first arrest. They had a lot of good things going for them. And most of the time when we have a case like that, we are able to get it dropped before court. But the problem is that, at least looking back in the past 6 months or so, they hired us at the last minute. So if you hire an attorney a day or 2 before court, and maybe, you did just bond out, so you are saving up, and obviously this situation is unexpected. But I realize that those are the people where, yes, we did contact the DA's office, but at that point, sometimes it's too late. Sometimes they are already reviewing the police report, they are already reviewing the file, and they have already made a decision. So if you are going to hire an attorney, then do it as soon as possible so that we have the best chance at getting the case dropped. I hope you found this video helpful. If you do have a criminal case in California, feel free to give me a call. You can find my number down below. You can also book a free consultation there. And if you did find this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, and follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.